Hey everybody, today we are going to be learning how to find the area of a triangle. Okay, now here's our triangle, and to find the area we're going to take our formula, base times height divided by 2. Alright, so here's our base, and when I think of base I think of bottom. Okay, so this is the bottom of the triangle. When I think of height I simply think of how tall is it. So this is my height. Now you might be asking yourself, why on earth are we dividing by 2? Well, there is a very simple explanation to that. Whenever you find the area of a rectangle, you are taking the length times the width. Okay, so if I were to make this a rectangle right now, and I drew a line going straight up, and then straight over, okay, and this is my rectangle, you'll notice that this triangle is essentially half of the rectangle. So, whenever I take my base times my height and then divide it by 2, I am essentially finding the area of a rectangle and then dividing it by 2 to get the area of half of it, which would be a triangle. So, that is why we are dividing it by 2. Just give me a second. I'm going to erase that line real quick. And we're back to where we started. Okay, so our base of our triangle is going to be 4. Our height of our triangle is going to be 5. Now you'll notice instead of writing base and height, I just simplified and I used B for base and H for height. So now, if my base is 4, I can substitute 4 in for B. If my height is 5, I can substitute 5 in for H. And I have the base of 4 times the height of 5 divided by 2 gives me the area. Now I'm going to simplify that, and I'm actually going to take 4 times 5, which equals 20, and then I'm going to divide 20 by 2, and that's going to give me 10. So I now know that the area of this triangle is 10 units squared. Now this is very important. You have to remember, whenever doing area and solving for area, you must square the units. Okay? Now, I wrote units in here because there was not a specific unit listed. If this had been in centimeters, it would have been 10 centimeters squared. If it had been in inches, it would have been 10 inches squared. But because I didn't specify, we're just going to say units. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move over here to this triangle. This one can seem a little bit trickier, but it is exactly the same. Okay, you don't have to think about it any differently. So, right now I can still think of this as half of a rectangle, even though it looks a little bit different. If I draw my line going up, and I draw it going across, and then if I were to draw it going right back down, okay, it's not perfect, but you can see that this triangle right here is essentially a mirror of this triangle. And this triangle here is a mirror essentially of this triangle. Okay, so I could take these two triangles and put them together to equal this triangle right here as a whole. But right now, look, I have a rectangle. Okay, this triangle here makes up for half because this side is equal to this side and this side is equal to this side. So this triangle makes up for half of this rectangle. So when I divide it by 2, I am doing the exact same thing I did on the last one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of this. Now that we know that this is exactly the same, we don't have to do anything different. Okay, my base for this triangle is going to be 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 units across the bottom of this triangle. Okay, I have a height of 3. Now you don't see the tick marks, but I measured it out. It is 3. Okay, so you have 1, 2, and then 3. So if I substitute those values into our equation over here, I have a base of 6 times a height of 3 divided by 2. So 6 times 3, that's going to give me 18. I take 18 divided by 2, and that's going to give me 9. So we now have an area of 9 units squared. That is how you find the area of a triangle, and I hope this helps you out.